The wind on Somerton Beach carries a chill that has nothing to do with the sea. It was December 1st, 1948. The morning sun crept over the sand, revealing a man's body. He was propped against the seawall, head resting back as if asleep. Well-dressed, athletic build, no signs of a struggle. His clothes were neat, almost perfectly pressed, but every single label had been snipped away. His pockets were empty, except for a few stray items. An unused train ticket, a bus ticket, some chewing gum. No wallet, no keys, no identification. Who was he? The police had no idea. The local residents had no idea. It was as if he had simply materialized from the cold morning air. An autopsy was performed, but the mystery only deepened. The coroner found intense congestion in his organs, a sign of some kind of poison, yet no trace of any known substance could be detected. It was a poison that left no evidence, a ghost in the man's system. His last meal was a pasty, eaten a few hours before death, but that too revealed nothing. He was a perfect specimen of health, right up until the moment he wasn't. The police were stumped. They had a body, a cause of death they couldn't prove, and a man without a name. They called him the Somerton Man. They took his fingerprints and sent them around the world. No matches. They published his photo in newspapers across the country, hoping anyone would recognize him. The calls came in, but they were all dead ends. Weeks turned into months. The man in the sharp suit remained a phantom. It felt like the world had collectively agreed to forget he ever existed. With no other options, authorities prepared his body for burial. It seemed the case was destined to go cold. Another forgotten soul laid to rest under a nameless stone. But just as the story was about to fade, a discovery was made that would ignite the mystery for decades to come. Months after the body was found, the staff at the Adelaide railway station were cleaning out the lost property office. They found a brown suitcase, its label torn off, checked into the station on November 30th, the day before the man's death. Inside they found clothing, and just like the clothes on the body, every single identifying tag had been meticulously removed. But there was one name the tailor had missed. On a tie, a laundry bag, and a singlet, the name Keane or Keen was written. It was the first real clue. But the police searched every database, every missing persons report for a T. Keane. Nothing. The name led nowhere. It was another dead end, another illusion of progress, and a case built on shadows. But there was something else inside that suitcase. Tucked away among the meticulously de-identified clothes was a spool of orange-brown thread. It was an unusual waxed thread, not commercially available in Australia at the time. When detectives examined the dead man's clothing, they found a small repair in the lining of his trousers. The thread used for the repair was a perfect match to the spool in the suitcase. The link was undeniable. This suitcase belonged to the Somerton Man, but connecting him to the bag only deepened the enigma. Why go to such lengths to erase his identity? What was he hiding from? The answer, it seemed, was not in what was found, but in what was hidden. Detectives, desperate for a breakthrough, re-examined the man's clothes one last time. And there, sewn deep inside a tiny, hidden fob pocket in his trousers, they found it. A tiny, tightly rolled scrap of paper. It wasn't a note or a number. It was just two words printed in a distinctive, ornate font. Tamám Shud. It's a Persian phrase meaning, "It is ended," or "the end." The words were torn from the final page of a book. The police now had their most cryptic clue yet. A dead man, a ghost poison, and a final fatalistic message. What book did it come from? And what did it mean? The hunt for the book began, and the case was about to take its most bizarre turn. The police launched a nationwide appeal, publishing a photograph of the scrap of paper. Tamám Shud. The phrase haunted the public imagination. Then a man came forward. He told police that shortly after the body was found, he had discovered a rare book in the back of his car, which he'd left unlocked near Somerton Beach. He hadn't thought anything of it at the time, and had tossed it aside. After seeing the appeal, he checked the book again. It was a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poems, and on the final page, a section was torn out. The scrap of paper found on the Somerton Man was a perfect fit. The book was the key, but this wasn't just any copy of the book. On the back cover, investigators found faint pencil markings. They looked like a jumble of random letters, a code. 5 lines of capital letters with 1 line crossed out. It was a cipher, something straight out of a spy novel. Was the Somerton Man a spy? Was this code a message he was meant to deliver, or one he had received? Naval intelligence officers and expert codebreakers were brought in. They studied the lines of cryptic text, but no one could crack it. The message remained locked, its meaning lost with the man who carried it. The code only added another layer of impenetrable mystery. And there was more. Inside the back of the book, police also found a handwritten phone number, an unlisted number. This was their most concrete lead yet. The number belonged to a young nurse who lived just a short walk from Somerton Beach, the very spot where the body was found. Her name was Jessica Thompson, though she was often known as Jo. When police showed her a plaster cast of the dead man's face, her reaction was unnerving. Witnesses said she was completely taken aback, to the point of fainting, but she denied knowing him. She denied ever having seen him. Her extreme reaction seemed to betray her words. Why would a stranger's face shock her so profoundly? Jessica Thompson admitted that she had once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat. She had given it as a gift to a man she knew during the war, an army lieutenant named Alfred Boxall. Suddenly, the police had a name. They thought the case was solved. The Somerton Man was Alfred Boxall. But when they located him, they found him very much alive, and with his copy of the Rubaiyat, the one Jessica had given him fully intact, the Tamám Shud page still present. So the book found in the car was not his. The dead man was not Alfred Boxall. It was another baffling coincidence, another path that led to a dead end. The identity of the Somerton Man remained a complete mystery. So what was Jessica Thompson's connection? For years, she remained tight-lipped, elusive. She was the one person who seemed to hold a piece of the puzzle, but she refused to share it. Her neighbors later claimed she had been harassed by an unknown man before the body was found, suggesting she was being watched. After her death in 2007, her daughter came forward with a stunning claim. She said she believed her mother knew the Somerton Man, that they were both spies, possibly Russian. She even suspected he might have been her father. The story grew darker, more political, tangled in the espionage of the Cold War. In 2021, after more than 70 years, a breakthrough. Researchers were finally given permission to exhume the Somerton Man's body for DNA analysis. Using advanced genetic genealogy, Professor Derek Abbott, a man who had dedicated years to the case, claimed to have found a name: Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne, born in 1905. He had a wife he had separated from, and he had simply vanished in 1947. Webb had a fondness for poetry and betting on horses, which could explain the coded text. But the official verification is still pending. Even with a name, the central questions remain. Why did he erase his identity? How did he die from an undetectable poison? And what was his connection to the nurse, Jessica Thompson? The story of the Somerton Man is a labyrinth of secrets. Every clue leads to another question. Every answer opens a door to a dozen more mysteries. A man with no name, a poison with no trace, a book with a secret message, a code that no one can crack, and a woman who took her secrets to the grave. Even if we now have his name, Carl Webb, we are no closer to understanding his final days. The end of the book was Tamám Shud. It is ended. But for the Somerton Man, the end was just the beginning of an enduring, chilling mystery. Thank you for watching. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, be sure to subscribe for more.